Now 2 minutes are left. I'll wait. Good morning. I'm C. Kupi. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Now it's only 9:48. 2 minutes. I'm waiting for other members to come. I hope you all enjoyed the holiday yesterday and unexpected. Just we were not aware about the holiday. All of a sudden, they declared the holiday. So that is, of course, it's good. So I hope that you all enjoyed. Right. Somebody, the three of them, they liked. Okay, good. Only 27 students are there. Now only 1 minute is left. Okay, no problem. But I will start the class because yesterday we missed the class. No, because of this reason that is, I thought of finishing the chapter by today. So I hope that I can finish the chapter by today. But I will be going a little bit fast because I do today. I will not talk much examples and other things today because I need to finish the class today. Okay. Page number 233. Page number 233. Legislative power of Parliament. So that is the legislative power of the Parliament. I told you the previous class what we discussed was so even the Parliament can control the executive. In what way the Parliament can control the executive? That is what we discussed yesterday. That means the previous class. Now, what are the legislative power and what you need to understand from what I'm going to teach today. So, in case if any rule has to be any law has to be made, that has to be done by the member of the parliament. Understood? So, either it can be I told you the public smoking that's being a member. I want so just I that is being a member of the Lok Sabha. So that is I just submit a bill. I submit a proposal that we need to just stop smoking in public place. Then I need to explain everything so that all things will be discussed and debated. And if there is a correction, then they will suggest. Then if it is then the Lok Sabha may approve with this. Then everyone that is the majority people approves. Then it goes to the Rajya Sabha and Rajya Sabha approves perhaps and sometimes what happen sometimes they may have some kind of differences and they may ask suggestions they may ask the Lok Sabha to just correct but that doesn't mean that the Lok Sabha has to obey what the Rajya Sabha said so they can just if there is a clash between or difference in clash means a difference in opinion between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and there is another committee will be formed that is called JPC Joint Parliament Committee. So certain members of the Lok Sabha and certain members of the Rajya Sabha. So that including the members from both this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they constitute a committee that is called JPC Joint Parliament Committee, and finally they take the decision. And once they take once they took the decision, so then it is passed by the Parliament. Then it will go to the President and it will be signed. So this is the procedure of making law. That is what we are going to study. I already explained these points. And now what kind of bill? What kind of bill? So the bills are basically two types. One is called the ordinary bill. So for example, I told you smoking has to be stopped in public place. This is called an ordinary bill. And any bill that is related with the money, that is a money bill that is called a money bill. One is called ordinary bill. Anything that related with the paisa money and that's called money bill. So the money bill only the parliament or the Lok Sabha can have the right to put up just a percent, and the Rajya Sabha cannot. So the other ordinary bill, a member from a Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, one of them. So any member can put up. So this is what we are going to study. I'll be going now. What you need to understand, I told you the two types of bill one is money bill and one is ordinary bill how the bill become a law that I already explained previous class also I explained this is what we are going to study today. Now listen, in India the parliament has the power to make new laws and modify or abolish existing law. This we studied. Parliament has the right to make new law or a change. They can make a change in the existing law. Let us see how laws are made in the parliament. I already explained how the laws are made in the parliament. I already explained. Okay. Now, a proposal for the law is called bill. Any proposal. So I told you the smoking. I need to write all the details and all. I need to make a suggestion. That suggestion in a paper that is called suggestion in a paper is called a bill. A proposal for a new for a law is called bill. There are two types of bills: ordinary bills and money bills. You need to understand. I told already explained. The two types of bills are there. One is ordinary bill and money bill. Until a bill is passed through the proper procedure, it does not become a law or an act. So it can be neither an act or a law unless and until this proposal is not officially or properly made. So if somebody says verbally, it cannot be a law or it cannot be an act. Understood? So it has to come to the parliament in the form of a bill. All bill other than money bill are called ordinary bill and can be introduced in either of the two houses of the parliament. I told you two bills. One is money bill and ordinary bill. Ordinary bill can be put up in any of the houses, but they can be introduced either by a minister or any private member of the house. Let us now assume that the new bill has been introduced in the Lok Sabha by an MP. It will undergo the following procedure, become a law. So any member, it can be a member of Lok Sabha, it can be a member of Rajya Sabha, or it can be a minister. So any person who belongs to the this parliament can, or private, even a private member also can submit a bill. Now, what is the procedure? A bill, a suggestion in the paper is called a bill. So how it become a law? Page number 233, left hand side. Rohan is asking the page. Now, when a new bill is introduced, it is first discussed in detail by the members and that is improvised if necessary. So, and when the bill is produced, it has to be discussed. If I am the one who presented, I need to stand and explain what is the purpose and what is the fact, and all those things will be explained to the member of the parliament. And then, if they have any suggestion, they also will give the suggestions. And the members then vote for the bill. If there is a majority in favor of it, the bill is passed to the Rajya Sabha. Members of the Rajya Sabha may also suggest changes and then return it. So I made a bill. I put up a bill in the parliament, being an MP, and I explained everything. And I just what is the need and what is the purpose and how it can be implemented and all the details and all I may explain in the bill. And the Lok Sabha, the people, they suggested something, and I accepted the suggestion, and finally it is passed by the Lok Sabha. Then, if it is passed, where it will go? It will go to the Rajya Sabha, and they have, and the Rajya Sabha has. They can directly accept it also, agree with also, or they can just send back the bill. That is saying that. So these some corrections can be made. So in case if when the Rajya Sabha send the bill back, that is it has to the when the bill is sent from Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha, within 15 days they have to give the response. They have to give the response, and if it is given to the Lok Sabha back or asking some suggestions, so it is up to the this Lok Sabha whether they want to accept it. And if there is a kind of difference in opinion, so the new committee will be formed. That is called JPC, Joint Parliament Committee. The final form of the bill is then sent to the president for the assessment. It is only after the president sign that the bill become a law. That I already told you. Bill become a bill which is accepted by both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then it will be given to the president for his approval. It will become an act. It will become a law only when he put his signature. Okay. Now, however, if there is this is a problem, I said, who made this law? Not the president, but without his signature, it will not become a law. So that is why I called you. That is the president of India is a signatory, a rubber stamp. Without his sign, it will not work. But he doesn't have any power to make the decision. Okay. However, if there is a disagreement between the two houses, the final decision is taken in the joint session of the houses, where the bill is passed by majority members of the both the houses present and voting. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha presides over the joint session. I told you, if there is a difference, So there will be a committee called both that the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and headed by the that will be headed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and they take a final decision. That arises only when if there is a clash or if there is a difference in opinion between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But in rare cases, it happens. Finally, when both the houses pass the bill, it's sent to the president for his or her consent. The president may give his or her the assent to the bill or exercise his veto power by returning to the parliament for a reconsideration. So, and the president, I told you the rubber stamp, but still he can say he has got the veto power. What do you mean by veto power? He can say no. I am not going to sign a. I am not happy with this one. Please look into this. अगर प्रेसिडेंट ने ये वापस भेज दिया तो इनको तो वापस भेजने का अधिकार है. अगर अगेन प्रेसिडेंट पार्लियामेंट से नो नो there won't be any change whatever we have made the final decision, then the president has to sign. I say president cannot stop for a long time, no, unless and until you make the change what I said, it I will not sign. President cannot do that, but president can send back the bill saying that please look at to this point and if it can be corrected or something. That is that power or stopping the bill, that power is known as a veto power for the president. If the bill is passed again by the both houses, with or without amendment, the president has to give his or a consent. After getting the president's assent, the bill become a law. I told you these are the points. That is the legislative power of parliament. Their main duty is to make the law, and they can even change the law. And how can they make the law? It has to be in the form of bill. It has to be approved by both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then it will go to the president, and then he signed. Then it will become a law. This is the main legislative law of the parliament. Now, another, they can even remove the high officials. I told you the parliament can impeach the president if the 75% of the vote that is given by the 75% of the parliament says the president has to be removed. This process is known as impeachment. And if the parliament doesn't want the present government, then Narendra Modi is the head of the government, and even the members of the parliament, including BJP and other members together, and if they are not happy with the functioning of the government under the leadership of Narendra Modi, so the parliament can bring back Narendra Modi government by putting a vote of non-confidence. So there will be an election within the parliament, and those who are supporting the Narendra Modi government, and if it is less than 50%, the entire government has to come. This is what we are going to study now. Removing high officials. The president can be removed from the removed from office for violating the constitution through the process of impeachment. The process of removing the president is called impeachment. The vice president may also be removed from his office by the majority members of the Rajya Sabha supported by the Lok Sabha. And the vice president also can be removed, and if both the parliament agrees, majority people. The process of impeachment can be initiated in any one house of the parliament. The parliament can also recommend the removal of judges, Supreme Court, and the High Court. So, in the same procedure is there. Even the president and the vice president can be removed. This process is known as impeachment. And in the same way, that is the same procedure is there for removal of the judges of Supreme Court or High Court. So far there is no procedure for removal of president has been taken place, but there was suggestions and half process has been completed, but it is not completed any time. So far, no president has been removed or impeached in India. No judges, and there are certain cases of the judges against the corruptions and all. Before it is going to happen, and they themselves resign. The Calcutta judge, कुछ साल पहले ऐसे एक incident हुआ. Now, the financial power. What are the financial power of the parliament? The parliament has a full control over the union finance. Every year, the government has to present its budget before the parliament, and budget is the annual financial statement of the government's expected income and already incurred an expenditure. The proposal for new taxes and the changes in existing taxes also need approval of the legislature. If the budget is not supported by the legislature, then the government has to present. Now, what do you mean by budget? So, for example, in order to make you understand that, I'll speak in a very simple way. Papa, mummy, a bacha, that they are the members of the family. Just imagine this one, and only that is the income producing person is only your dad. Papa is getting around 50,000 rupees. For example, I'm talking about a person who is working. is getting a salary of 50,000. That is the only income for the family. Now the papa knows only that is I have the income of 50,000. Now I need to run the family, and what are the major the important needs to be filled, and what are the things. So what happens, the papa mummy and all sit together and टोटल हमारा कमाई इतना है 50,000. ये 50,000 के अंदर हमें क्या क्या करना है. तो the things will be arranged in such a way that जो important जिस चीज को देना है वो that will be arranged. और इसके लिए for example, suppose you are staying on a rent को देना है, बिजली को देना है, दूध को देना है, for another one बच्चे को फीस देना है, गाड़ी में पेट्रोल डालना है. तो all these are the all these are the fixed expenses. और इसके लिए इतना पैसा. So then other examples for any other things, any celebrations are coming, इसके लिए इतना पैसा. So all the coming expenses for this month, the coming month, they will anticipate and they calculate and they keep the money, and after that they think. So कितना बाकी हम budget कर सकता, कितना बाकी, how much we can save. So and they calculate the expenses, and they got an account of this one, and the income. And if अगर ये हमारा जो एक्सपेंस ज्यादा, इस महीने में ज्यादा एक्सपेंस है, बच्चों को फीस भी जमा करना है, तो एक्सपेंसेस हो हमें 50,000 से काम नहीं चल पाए, we cannot do the expense. So they may find another way that they have to borrow the money from somebody else, and altogether a financial arrangement is made for the family. And you can ask your dad also, are they doing it? Maybe without your knowledge, and mummy and papa, they may be doing it. So this system, this setup, this arrangement is called a budget for the family. In the same way, for the entire country also, so there is a kind of statement, kitna expense, how much is the expenses, how much is the total income, and what is the main source of income, and how much income is expected in this year, and what are the expenses, what is the cost of running the government, what are the help to be given to some of the states. All those things will be calculated, and in case if they had the shortage of money, so they propose some method. So we need to increase the tax. For example, recently you have seen one thing. It is not the part of budget, but still जो सबसे पहले तो दिल्ली government, they have increased the tax 70%. जो the दारू का जो tax बढ़ा है, गवर्नमेंट डिड नॉट हैव द मनी टू रन द गवर्नमेंट. उन्होंने एक ही रास्ता बनाया, जो दारू पीने वाला लोगों के जो 100 रुपए का जो बोतल है उसका प्राइस कितना होगा, एकदम 70% tax increase here. And what is the reason? Because the government did not have the money. So and they need to collect the money, and this money goes to the government, and they have to give the salary to the people, they have to run many things and all, so they need the money. So one example I'm telling you, in the same way, when the government they make the budget, and they need to find how much money they are getting, how much expenses, and in what way we need to spend all these things. All these procedure together we call as a budget, and the main duty of making the budget is the parliament. And if the budget is approved by the parliament, that is good. And if it is not approved, but say if the budget is not supported by the legislature, then the government has to resign. That is a very pathetic. So there is no other this one. They can have a discussion, like we have a discussion, debate and all. But if the government is not, if the parliament is not ready to pass the budget, the government has to resign. Okay. Now, powers to attend the constitution. An amendment or the change in the existing new deeds to be approved by both the houses of the parliament. Small changes can be amended by simple majority, and major portions are amended by 2/3 of majority. So amendment, what do you mean by amendment? If any changes is made in the existing law, or deletion or addition or any changes is made in the existing law, that is called amendment. A minor changes and all can be done, amendment, this minor change, this amendment can be done with the minimum majority, but a major changes is has to be made in the law, then they have to get 2/3 majority. Now, need for the law. When the constitution was promulgated, it was meant to serve a foundation for the elected representative for the process of making lawmaking. With time, some laws became outdated and obsolete. According to a number of new laws have been passed, and old ones have been sorry, Accordingly, a number of new laws have been passed and old ones have been amended since 1950. Some of the new laws are. So here, many laws when we become independent in 1947, which was suitable on for that situation. But many now, as the years changed and all, so we need to make new laws. So and we that is we need to make new laws, and some of the laws have to be amended, changes, and some of the useless law has to be deleted also. Now let's see. The right to education, some of the new law has been made. That is in 2012. This is 19. I don't know why it is passed in 2012. The Right to Education Act of 2009 was guarantees free education for children between 6 to 14. Actually, it is passed in 2012, I feel. I don't know. So that means every children below 14 is 6 to 4, in between the 14 and 6 years of age. So it is their right to get the education, and the government has to प्रोवाइड द एजुकेशन. और कोई झुग्गी में रहने वाला बच्चा बोल रहे हैं तो मुझे अभी 10 साल का हो गया, तो बोला आई नीड टू गेट एडमिशन, so he can go to any government school or any other private school and he can say he has to get the admission. Because age के हिसाब से he is 10-year-old and he has to get the admission for fifth standard. So should be admitted for the fifth standard even if he doesn't know alphabets also. It is the duty of the school to provide, that is books, uniform and everything has to be given by the school, and they have to provide and they have to teach him from the beginning. And this right is given by the government. The National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which provides 100 days of employment to the poor. That is also the new law that when you come to the ninth standard, you will study more. This is called NREGA Act. The Payment of Wages Act, which fixed the wages of the workers. The government has made a law. The people who are in the different qualification, a person who has finished his MA, MCom at PG level, a person who has finished his BA, BCom graduation level or plus 2 level. So they should be given minimum level of salary. Government has made it very clear, whoever people who are working in any place, not only in government, in any private area also, so they should be given minimum this amount of salary. That also new law made. The Right to Information Act, which ensure the people right to know everything about the process in the government, and that is one of the basic beneficial law made by the government. So I have the full right to know what is happening in the country. I just give an application and say just 10 rupees fees or something like that. So the finance ministry what decision has made about any particular issue. I can give an application saying that. So I would like to know the detail of the procedure. What have you done? Suppose if I have given an application for a job in the finance ministry, and now I have given the test. Now I have been selected. Finally, I did not get the appointment. I was rejected. So I have the full right to know. So what are the reason? Corona tax and all, Kaberi, why you are writing unnecessary things and all? Listen to the class now. So they have the that now I have the full right to know what is the reason I was rejected, and I know who all are who all other people who have been selected, and on what background they have been selected. I have the full right to know. I just give an application paying 10 rupees fees. The government, the concerned official is supposed to give, and if they don't give the information, so I can file a case against them. And if the information given to me by them, if I am not happy, I can go to the court. The Right to Information Act, which ensure the people's right to know everything about process in government office. Maternity Benefit Act, which guaranteed 12 weeks of maternity leave. Nowadays, another one. The people who are working in the government, not for every private one, it's around 6 month leave for pregnancy during the delivery period. And that is so when it depends on the demands of the woman who is pregnant. So she can get 6 month salary without attending the office. She can take 6 month leave and she will get the 6 month salary if that is if the mother is pregnant, and that is only for two children, not third children. So these are the some of the recent laws or the new law has been made by the government. An overview of Domestic Violence Act, and there are a lot of other incident in Delhi and all. For if you just had a look when I came into Delhi in 1990, so in every newspaper it is said there is cylinder explosion, and mainly who dies in the cylinder explosion? That the bahu normally dies, and who is responsible for this? that the husband and in-laws. So what was the reason? It was the dowry issue. So there was, and this kind of harassment, this kind of domestic violence had been common in India. So now, in order to stop this one, government had made some law. That is what we are going to study. The parliament has a major part to play in lawmaking. Laws are made in number of ways. Diverse social group usually voice concern about the increasing need for bringing into the force a specific law. इसमें कुछ नहीं आपको समझने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. In this regard, it is the imperative on the part of the parliament to show that sensitivity to the problems which people face. So I told you the example, 90% of the newspaper every day, that is a one every day. And now it is the duty of the government to see the problem or the something happens in the society, and they need to bring to the parliament, and they have to take a decision how it can be curbed or how it can be stopped. Understood? And they have made this law. In this regard, it is imperative on the part of the parliament to show sensitivity to the problems which people face. While framing the law, it is essential that particular groups of the people should not be favored at the expense of others. So I say the a rule. I say we should cannot make the rule. This law is benefit only for a particular community, and the other community may get the same the negative result for this. We cannot make the law in such a way. So when we make the law, it should not be favored for only for one particular community. During 1990s, various groups across the country voiced the urgency for make a new legislation to curb rising incidents of the domestic violence. So during the period of 1990, what I said is in the book is also there. So in 1990, the domestic violence, like this case of example, I told you dowry case and all, there was a lot of cases. In 1999, a group of activists and the lawyers called the Lawyers Collective held a consultation throughout the country and played an active part in preparing a draft for the Domestic Violence Prevention and Protection Bill. Copies of the draft was subsequently distributed among the relevant sections in the group of people across the country. So during those periods, the domestic violence was a common issue in all over India, especially in Delhi. It was too much. So some of the people or the advocates, that is advocates and all, they made an association and they made a discussion all over the country, and they had made some suggestion on how can it be stopped. Now, after the several rounds of deliberations on the draft bill, the Parliament Standing Committee came out with a set of recommendations. Parliament, and there was a lot of debates and discussions and all, and Parliament Committee came some new recommendations, which were tabled in December 2002 in Rajya Sabha and then the Lok Sabha. Prior to that, the number of women organizations, along with the National Commission for Women, presented their submission to the committee, on the basis of which the bill was introduced in the Parliament 2002. And even many women organizations also, mainly the victims are, who are the victims? The women. The main victims are women, and they also suggested many things and put suggestions to the government. Finally, after the discussion, debate, and they are presented the concluded bill in 2002. The Parliament Standing Committee, in the report tabled in the two houses of the Parliament, gave its note to most and demands made by the women's organization. So now both the Parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha has given the note, consent, permission to approve this law. Eventually, in 2005, a new bill was introduced in Parliament following the passage in both houses. The President gave his assent to it. Thus, in 2006, the Domestic Violence Act finally became a law with immediate effect. So, many people were involved, women organizations, advocates, many people, learned people, they all had a suggestions, and finally concluded all the suggestions and put in the form of a bill in the Parliament. It approved in 2006. This act, the Domestic Violence Act, finally become a law in the गवर्नमेंट सपोज इफ हस्बैंड वाइफ फोन किया किसी को पुलिस स्टेशन में, मेरा हस्बैंड मुझे फिजिकली टॉर्चर कर रहे हो, मुझे मार रहे हो, then immediately the police will come and arrest the person. If the child even make a phone call, even not only the husband and wife, if a child say make a phone call to the police station 100, so that my parents are beating me or this one, immediately that was the most important case. The police will within few minutes, the police will reach to your house and they make inquiry, and if your parents are responsible for it, they will arrest. The citizens' role has been remarkable significance in enabling the parliament to develop a better understanding of the people, aspirations, and expectations. So, The parliament's main idea is to give importance people's aspirations, people's way of living, and people's development, people's lifestyle. The main duty of the parliament to support the people's life. So, and they are doing it. So the various legislation have been framed based on the understanding of the people and need, and most of the rules have been made according to the needs of the people. Actually, the voice of the citizen reflects the pressing need of the society. So it also creates pressure for the initiation and enforcement that the legislation in a prompt manner. What the parliament does in response to the popular demands gets highlighted through media reports and give people greater access to legislative proceeding. Thus, the process of lawmaking become more transparent to the citizen. If the parliament is going to make any law, and you have seen the Lok Sabha TV, Rajya Sabha TV, and so many different TV, and from the newspaper, different channel, what all things are being just discussed. And if the parliament is going to make a new law, and when they are in the process, and when bill is submitted in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, the entire people comes to know about it and what is the bill and what is the content and what is the purpose, and they also can give the suggestion. And finally, the bill will be passed with the content in such a way that it can be accepted for everyone. Okay. Now, laws of controversial nature, and but some of the law it can be a controversial nature also. We sometimes hear a parliamentary legislation that evoke criticism and fail to get popular support. So there are certain law which is made by the parliament also may not be approved by all the different community. Recently, there was an issue with the Hindu Muslim that issues and all. You can just have a look on this. Okay. So now that also there may be some laws that made by the parliament may not be approved or accepted by the people. But such law cannot be necessarily regarded as expression of directive of the few people. Sometimes they end up offending and antagonizing a large section of the people. When some law that is made by the parliament, I take 1 minute, time over I know, and when this kind of law is introduced, and they have the full right to protest against this one. These laws are criticized because they are not beneficial society or culturally. Some law which is made in the country may not be beneficial for some country or some section of the society. So now, in protest against such laws, meeting and rallies are held publicly. Articles are written in newspapers and magazine and reports, and public debates are telecast on television. Suppose if any law that is made and some people are not in favor and they can show their that is unwillingness to obey this rule by protesting or making some other issues. And for example, the issue over use of municipal space by street vendors and that occurs has been very controversial. And one of the controversial, and many the people who are jo saman jo ready mein बेचता है, they are taking the place of municipality or municipal corporation. So and it is not allowed. So this was a very controversial law. Now, just I know the time is over. I finished the chapter, and Monday we will be discussing the questions. But I need some of the students are very good in finding the answers and all. I request I have not gone through the questions and answers, and just go through the question and answers. And if we and maybe some of the answers may not be we may not be able to find in the textbook. And if you get any clue, please you find it and we will discuss. And today and that means Saturday and Sunday it is a holiday for you. You also find the question answers which would be good. And when I discuss any answers which you feel is difficult or different, just give your the number the just suggestion by chatting, that you will see later. You can either communicate to me later. Okay, understood. Thank you. Thank you very much. And today, my dear children, today I had gone a little bit fast. But I explained all those points in the other class also. That's the reason. And second is I need to finish. Because the Monday I can discuss the question answer. So just once again, just go through today. Please. Just take 15 minutes for SST today. I'm asking only 15 minutes for SST. Just read it so that you can just fix what I spoke to you today. All the best. Bye. I love you all.